All right, guys, this is an audience participation song. When I go da 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 da, I want to hear you yell it right back at me. And then you get to the chorus, you're like da 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 da, and you put your mic out. Everyone goes da 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 back at you because they're all crashed.
Oh, I sincerely hope you were recording just now.
Hello and welcome to Mana Biscuit, episode number 32, your weekly geek culture, pop culture, our culture, your culture, bacteria culture. No, not that. Too many cultures. It's a podcast, though. We do it every week. I still don't know what to call it, other than Mana Biscuit. It's your Mana Biscuit podcast. How about that? All right, I am RJ Velosky. With me, once again, are my co-hosts, Jacob Gamble.
Hi.
TJ Rathburn.
Hello.
Hello, gents. All right, so you ready to do this? Let's do this.
Woo!
What are we doing this week? Well, what did you guys do this week? I know what I did this week. What did you guys do this week?
I binged the three episodes of Supergirl and the 2 episodes of Blind Spot that I missed, which I finally placed the girl from Blind Spot. It's Sif.
Okay.
And it took me forever. I'm like,
I didn't place that. Yeah, but she did seem familiar. Yep.
Yep.
So I haven't heard a bad thing about Blind Spot yet.
Dude,
is that just good marketing, or am I not talking to the right people?
No, it's a good show. It's a good show altogether. Totally worth watching, and it's everything that it ranks up there with the 100 as far as like that whole sleeper hit thing goes. That cool. People aren't. People are talking about this one, but they much more so than the 100 ever has been talked about. But I thoroughly enjoy it
on an alphabet network, which helps. So
yeah.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I have a couple of shows. iZombie's really picking up. It's in the heart of its season now, moving towards the end. Been keeping up with that, and looks like Liv and Major are finally going to sort things out, but they'll never let them sort things out. I ship them so hard, though. Anyway, TJ, what did you get up to this week?
Not a whole lot in terms of television and stuff. I've when I was watching things, I've been watching comedy specials and stuff on like Netflix. John Mulaney's new special was really awesome, and then I've been spending a lot of my time either like playing computer games at home or coming over to RJ's place and playing Bloodborne at his house, like 4 nights over the last it's 8 or 9 nights.
It's really the only reason he wanted me to move here. No, it's been fun. It's been fun. Yeah.
He'll be working, and I'm like, dude, stop doing what you do for a living and look up how to fight this monster.
Yeah, good times. We also I did go to your house this week though because Steve started his Cthulhu
we started
game.
our new game. Yep. Our new tabletop
that
game.
That was a blast. Yep.
What?
Yeah, we started playing Steve's game of Call of Cthulhu.
Yep. Yeah, going to be bi-weekly on Sundays. But yeah, looking forward to it. I hadn't played Cthulhu other than a one-shot like 12 years ago, but it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to getting into it further.
Someday I'll have a job that doesn't work me to death, and I'm able to do these kind of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon-ish, because I would like you to be in my Exalted game that I'm probably going to start.
I so want to do that.
I'm not going to start. I'm not going to start immediately. I'm probably waiting until I get my physical copy of the book, which will be probably the middle of December, and then it'll be the holidays, so I'll want to delay until after that. So you've got probably until the turn of the year. So,
if you would like to be in TJ's Exalted game,
leave
a comment below.
All right. That goes nowhere. The link goes to my Facebook page. You just
There you go. All right. I also picked up Fallout 4. I've only gotten a few hours into it, but that's been fun. I'm looking forward to diving deeper into it because that obviously has been the news of the week, right? You know, everybody and their brother has been posting different things that they found in the game. My favorite so far. Hold on, we'll get to that. My favorite so far.
Battlefront coming out today.
Yes, Battlefront. Yeah, Battlefront's another thing, which we'll get to that in a minute. But my favorite, there was a mod that basically pissed off Major League Baseball, because even though it's set in Boston and they make a big deal of the heritage and everything, and you have Diamond City, which is actually Fenway Park, and you have the same level of backstory because the universes, if you will, didn't diverge until well after Fenway Park was built in the early 1900s. But anyway, somebody went through and created a mod for a skin mod for their armor, and basically gave them a David Ortiz uniform. They created their avatar to look just like David Ortiz and just ran around beating up people with baseball bats. It was the funniest thing I have ever seen. And MLB's like, oh, that's our property. We cannot allow this to be. And like, damn it, MLB. Damn it. Really?
We're just trying to make you relevant. Baseball.
And that hurts because I do love baseball.
I love baseball.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Wouldn't that fall under fair use though? I mean,
no, because the MLB, and to be fair, all sports, major sports leagues defend their trademarks like pit bulls because it's such a huge source of revenue for them. But
yes, and also because if you don't, then when somebody comes along and does something that is making money off of your product, you can't enforce it then because you're not allowed to selectively enforce trademarks.
Correct. Yep.
So you have to jump on everybody. Otherwise, when the guy comes along and is sucking like millions of dollars of revenue away from you, you can't legally go after him. But I mean, technically speaking, I don't know if you guys ever pay attention to the stuff that happens before sporting events. At least the one that really springs to mind is the NFL, where like before the game starts, it'll be like, the NFL owns all of this stuff. Like the game, you can't record it and replay it or make a written account or a spoken account. It's like, technically speaking, if I watch a game and I tell you guys, even in our personal lives in our apartments, like, hey, did you see the game? The Lions lost by such and such amount because the Lions always lose.
Lions
except for
won
apparently in Lambeau, yes.
Yeah.
But every other week it's like, oh, the Lions lost, and this is how. If they found out the NFL could come to my apartment and kick the door down and be like, you need to stop that.
Yeah, it's a trademark, copyright, all of that is ridiculous because it can, in theory, be taken to those types of extremes. But I have to say, this is the most sportsy we've ever gotten in our little geek.
I know.
I mean, this is actually was as far as sports goes. I mean, that's what I did this week. I watched the Lions win. I watched Rousey lose.
Right.
Yeah,
and geek angle on that, so I can try and steer it back on track. There was an article on Wired today where somebody,
the amount of force.
Yes, where somebody calculated the physics of that kick that absolutely knocked her out, and it was about 50 pounds by his calculations, 50 pounds of force to the jaw, and I believe it the way she went down.
Yeah,
but. Anyway,
I would have too. Like, if you hit me with 50 pounds of force, I'm a big man, and I'd be like, no.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So yeah, that was my favorite thing about Fallout 4. Apparently.
That's what get Ronda Rousey Anyway, actually, did anybody see the article about the decline in internet porn during
that was pretty funny.
Yeah, when Fallout 4 launched, all of a sudden nobody was going to internet porn sites because they were too busy on Fallout.
Well, the creepiest thing about that, I mean, other than thinking about all of these people and what they're doing, but the creepiest part about that is they actually released the report, and apparently their SEO statistics are so optimized that they were able, through Google Analytics, to determine specifically that it was gamers based on their visitors' search histories. They had it broken down by genres of games as well. Apparently, apparently sports game fans were the number one demographic to drop, and RPG fans were like way down there, statistically insignificant. Anyway.
So basically,
Big Brother is watching you, and apparently so is Pornhub.
Well, yeah, obviously
Wow.
they are, but I'm also more interested in knowing now that I can go over to my gamer friends' house, look at their video game collection, and be like, I don't think I'm going to sit on your couch.
Right.
Well, moreover, I mean, it's disturbing. Just like if they could break it down into genre and then the type of porn that they're in. Ugh!
Oh, this is a classic
Yeah,
Man of Biscuit
I
train
know
wreck here.
what you watch. Oh god.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we are gonna have to.
You own a bass fishing game? You're totally a furry.
Oh, there it was. There it was. I was hoping we wouldn't get to that point.
It just got broke.
Okay.
Wow, that's astonishing. But I mean, we all know that we're being watched. I've noticed some things that make me go, "Oh man," because like you hear the like internet horror stories and stuff, but where people will talk about something around their cell phone and their ads will change on stuff. That happened to me like 2 weeks ago.
Right. Wow.
It was not something I had looked up. It was not anything. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'd had a conversation about something really weird. Not like really weird. It wasn't all like, hey man, did you hear they can splice spider DNA into goats and then the goats lactate silk? Like that, it wasn't that level of weird. Why that was my go-to for weird, unsure. But
I have a pretty good guess as to why.
it's pretty weird.
Yeah.
And true. It is also true. But it was one of those things where it was not something I was terribly likely to be talking about. And then after that, like an hour after that, I went on Facebook, and my Facebook ads that are powered by Google had changed to be about what I was talking about in that conversation. And we know that Google can listen to you through your phones because if you set things properly, you don't have to go to that Google home screen to do OK Google. Yeah. But they're not supposed to if you don't have it set up. And I'm pretty sure that I just didn't click the right privacy boxes or whatever. And I'm not like, upset or feel betrayed. I'm like, okay, it's Google and they're paying attention to me. That's what Google does.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where all of a sudden I'm like, all the tinfoil hat people.
They were right. They were right. Yeah. And yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. The monitoring doesn't really bother me that much because I figure I'm pretty much a typical 35-year-old dude. I'm just going to blend into the background noise, but
yeah,
there's really no question it's there. Yeah. All right. Well,
I can't say
what
that
else?
I've had anything that was a noticeable experience other than, my ads changing from what I've searched.
Right.
But that's not the least bit surprising. I mean, there's been.
Well, for me, I in my chat messages, and my phone calls, I try to be very charming. So I like to think that somewhere there is an NSA agent that looks forward to monitoring my communications. I don't know.
He's
maybe
just such a pleasant guy to listen to.
Yeah, that's right. It's so such nice. A sexy voice. And
do you guys watch Community?
I haven't. No, it's one of those things. Okay,
you really need to get around to it. It's really great, and that was halfway the topic of an episode where one of the characters, who is all weird and kind of like spacey and goofy, meets a Secret Service agent because the vice president is supposed to go to their college for a speech, and kind of has a crush on the agent. The agent kind of has a crush on him. So she comes up with excuses to monitor him as a threat to national security in order to spend time around him and like surveils his home so that they can watch a movie together. Like, it's a really cute little episode of an amazingly good show. Watch Community.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're ready to kind of dive into our main topic here. We posted this out on our Facebook page, and all three of us shared it out to give you guys an opportunity to comment on this because we wanted to have this sort of thing where we just sort of rattle on about a topic be a little bit more engaging than it typically is. And so we're going to try and do that some more in the future. So keep an eye out on that. We'll pick a topic ahead of time and try to get some pre-engagement so we can talk about it on the show as opposed to, later when whatever. So the article basically covered the multitude of ways that D&D has affected modern culture, and not in just the obvious ways like, D&D led to computer RPGs, which led to World of Warcraft and the Lord of the Rings movies. And everybody knows that. That's like, small talk when you're getting to know somebody and checking their geek cred. But this actually went into many other ways in terms of the way that gamification has become such an important part of the social media experience and marketing and engagement, and also the way something else we're going to talk about a little bit later about whether or not online personas are actually kind of like a D&D character. But before we get into that, we actually did get some pre-engagement, and TJ, I believe you have that ready for us if you want to go ahead and read that up.
I have it pulled up right now. This was a friend of mine named Denver who posted storytelling media such as books and movies as well as games have always been an escape. The combination of these takes that to another level, allowing us all to be a different side of ourselves or to be more than we thought we were. I never thought about how the personalized escape from role-playing through avatars didn't really have a standard at some point, and how D&D created a solid foundation for that standard. Life must have been weird before the 70s. I can actually really agree with that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just something you take so much for granted now, and this is part of that more base level conversation you have earlier in terms of every game having RPG elements and that sort of thing.
Yeah, like everybody knows the concept of leveling up.
Yes, and experience points and yeah. Well, everybody that plays games anyway.
Well, not just that. Like, I can crack a joke to like my mom about leveling up.
True. It is because
I vacuumed and did my dishes and all that. I got another level in domesticism, and she would know what that meant. Yeah. Like everybody understands that concept now, which is kind of weird.
Right, and it's that it has become that pervasive. I think really speaks to the way and as was it Dustin Denver. Yeah, the way Denver pointed out there that it is. Not just he pointed out the avatar-based gaming and the way that's become so pervasive, but the other elements too. They've just sort of melded their way into our day-to-day lives, the way we think about things, the way we talk about things. It's something that I think is overlooked when you just say, "Oh, this Tolkien led to D&D, led to blah blah blah." But I don't know, Jay. Do you have any thoughts? You look contemplative.
I actually. I'm weighing out a lot of what was being said as far as the avatars and the social media thing, because we discussed that on the pre-show, and you guys ran through an argument while I stayed silent, just simply based on.
So
the fact
talk
that
us into the argument then. You go ahead and.
Wow, no, because I'm gonna chip in at some point in time. And,
all right.
This was you guys, not me.
I do want to say that, like, when it's avatar-based, like, anonymous social media, it's much easier to do the persona thing where you, like, kind of have a character that you're portraying. But when I think of social media these days, I no longer think of it as being anonymous. My actual name is on my Twitter. My name is on my Facebook, which I think I may have touched on this before on the show, but how absolutely mind-boggling it is that in a relatively short span of time, it went from everybody telling you, never put your real name on the internet, it is dangerous, never let anybody know who you are or where you live or whatever, and now, like, Facebook and... honestly, it was Facebook and MySpace that really kind of like threw that out the window.
Well, yeah, that's mere exposure there. Really.
Take it even further than that. I mean, we go right down to check-ins. I mean,
I'm right here.
Here, right now. And I mean, we got check-ins, we've got check-ins, we've got, actually, if you go through on your Facebook chat, if you have the proper settings and they have the proper settings, you can see where they're typing at.
Yeah.
That message was sent from this exact location.
Sure.
And I mean, I have the thing on, like, not a lot of people have it on because it doesn't pop up that often. But I do have the notifications on where if you have your Facebook account set up and you come near me, my Facebook tells me.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be like, oh, this person's in the area. And if you bring it up and it says, this person's, like, in the area, you can just tap it and allow it to share your exact location. And I experimented with this with a friend of mine a handful of months ago, where she was like, don't tell me where you're at, just turn it on and let's see if I can find you with Facebook. And she did.
That's pretty cool. I mean,
I dig it. But I mean, it could be a terrifying thing. Like, it could be a horrible and scary thing and easy to abuse. But I mean, the people that are on my Facebook friends list, because of the way that I run my Facebook, tend to actually be people that I know. People that I would trust to know where I am anyway.
This is quickly turning into the Big Brother episode, I think.
Yeah, it is.
But
it's not where we thought we were going to go, but it's
it's all right. It's all right. But back to the point, so we don't leave anything unfinished there. The article makes the point that in social media spaces, a lot of times people will create personas, these curated images of who they are, and they make the association between that and D&D characters. And TJ wasn't having it. TJ's not buying that argument at all.
No.
I argued with him on it back and forth on those specific points, but that was from our perspective, because I can see where it is the case that you do these things, but it's not necessarily related to D&D. It's just more related to human nature.
Yeah, like, this is the same sort of thing that everybody's been doing forever. The case that I brought up was how even before there was social media and stuff, everybody was different around their parents than they were around their friends. Like, you always have just different, like, modes of behavior that are appropriate. And you could call that a persona, but it's, I don't feel like that's...
Well, I would definitely call it a persona. I would just wouldn't necessarily draw the association with, like, a D&D character.
Like an avatar. Like, this isn't a fictional thing that you are acting out. It's just you picking and choosing what things are appropriate to say and do based off of who are around you. It's just,
Now, all that being said, something happens when you get over, like, maybe 10,000 Twitter followers. Right, and you have this massive level one-way engagement. And,
well, I mean, it is two-way to an extent. But,
to an extent, yes, but the sheer influx of people engaging you is just going to make it a massive level of white noise, basically. Yeah. So, and if you have that many people following you, obviously they're interested in what you have to say, or they hate you and they want to follow what you say. Either way, they're interested, and they're interested. Not necessarily in the person at that point. They're interested in the personality, the persona that person is cultivating. And to that extent, I do see that as more of like a D&D character type thing. Because before D&D, there really wasn't that opportunity outside of a very, very small number of media personalities that, your Johnny Carsons, your Walter Cronkites, your Dan Rathers, these people that had daily or weekly shows where they would engage one way with a massive audience. And obviously Dan Rather, the person, is not Dan Rather, the news anchor, right? So in that extent, it's become much more pervasive with social media because there's a lot of these types of people, and because smaller niches have that opportunity as well. Like I said, the 10,000 Twitter followers probably where I'd make the cutoff, but that's still not on the level of what this type of thing was before. And I think that the acceptability of that is you could make the argument that D&D has in some way inoculated us to the concept of the persona.
And it makes me curious. Like, I might have to reach out to somebody because I'm wondering where. like, because you brought up the Twitter thing, like after a certain level of followers, you become like a persona like of yourself. And like I obviously don't have that many followers, but I do have a friend who does
Right.
have that kind of level of followers, like tens of thousands of followers.
Mm-hmm.
And her tweets just seem like her. Like the same sort of thing that I would have heard if we were sitting around and like, having coffee or doing whatever. And so maybe I should talk to her about it and like broaden my horizon on this level of knowledge. How much of it is no longer like her in general, and how much of it is a person she's portraying.
Or
What
go ahead, Tay.
What I actually, and this was one of those things that piqued my interest because of the fact that we were doing the show when we went to Gen Con. Ultimately, I had the opportunity to sit with actually pretty much by myself with about 3 or 4 other people, with a whole bunch of game developers and things like that represent their brand and things like that, with tens of thousands of followers. Ultimately, what they told me and what I learned from them is that it is a methodical formula at that point in time. You are who you are, but you're no longer who you are. The I've had a bad day and everything sucks post can't happen.
Yeah.
Because you need to have a certain level of quality for the people.
Right, and you got to cultivate a persona that people want to engage with, and only your intimate friends are going to want to engage with that.
Yeah, and that's what it boils down to, and even right down to times and times of posting and methods of posting of too personal, one promotional, too personal, one promotional, various patterns and things like that change once you hit that point. So I don't believe at that point in time you are anything more than
it depends on your end game too, right? I mean, if you're there to promote a brand, then yes, there are going to be optimal ways of doing it, and that I think gets back to another thing that we touched on at the front of this, and another point the article brings up, and that's the overall gamification of everything, finding the optimal system to
min-maxing in real life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Life hacks.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very, very much a true thing. It makes me start to wonder, like, because you were talking about how, like, if you're representing a brand, I wonder how different it is, like, if there is a difference at all, when you're representing a brand and when you yourself are the brand. Because I know certain people who have a massive online following that have it because they're personal, because they do still, like, they do put up the I had a bad day thing sometimes, because it makes them feel more human to the people that are interacting with them through these social media. And I wonder if it's just a matter of like RJ was saying, whether it's a matter of your end game or whether it's a matter of some people are going, no, this is where my roots were, and so I'm going to stay true to that, or what makes people make those decisions in regards to what they're putting up.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting avenue to explore that as well, because it's definitely and if the type of person that's going to put on a conference at Gen Con for people who are looking to do this type of thing are very much going to approach it from, this is the optimized, tried and true method of establishing a brand, whereas people who were popular before social media, or people who came up, say, their popularity didn't necessarily come up through Twitter, but maybe through YouTube. That's going to be...
That was actually one of my first thoughts.
Yeah.
Were some of the YouTube personalities that I follow.
Yep. Yeah, and so that's a different type of branding. That's, like you said, that's where you yourself are the brand. But well, I think this has been a pretty good conversation on it. It was a really fascinating article. That's why I wanted to talk about it on the show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't get a chance to engage ahead of time,
feel free to engage now.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for future things. This is something, like I said, I'm going to try and do a little bit more.
Yeah, so like our Facebook page so that you are available to get those notifications, like so that you see when we put these things out there. We'll also make an effort to share things via the Mana Biscuit Twitter account and things like that, so that when we do have these like little previews of what we're going to do for you to engage with, you get the opportunity.
Absolutely. And if you haven't already, if you have anybody on your friends list that isn't already liking the Facebook page, but you think maybe they might like to be involved in that sort of thing, feel free to send them an invite to like the page, because this is the type of thing we're going to be posting in addition to our episodes, and so on and so forth. So, all right, I think with that, we can just about wrap it up. We didn't get any top 5 list comments last week, did we? I don't think.
No. Yeah. No, ours was a boring one last. What was ours last week?
It was It was no particular order. Mana Biscuit's weekly top 5 list show, where we list our top 5 whatevers in no particular order.
Are you kidding? Because I mean, I can. What we did last week was the teaser trailers and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Previews and teaser trailers, which we did get at least one response, because the person reiterated it in person to me. A friend of the show, Brandon, pointed out that he was shocked that that the Fallout 4 trailer didn't get on any of our lists. And I'm like, I was excited for Fallout 4, but it's not the same thing as like waiting 4 years for Jurassic Park, or being super psyched for Star Wars. Like, it was the sort of thing where I'm like, oh man, that's going to be awesome. And he was like, well, you talked about it so much on the show. I'm like, yeah, because it was still exciting, but it wasn't that kind of like legendary excitement.
I think it has to do with the way Bethesda approached it. I mean, if it was going to make it on the list, I think it would have to be in the context of all the scams and false starts that we had over the years. Yeah. The fake sites that got put up and that sort of thing, which is pretty engaging, maybe deserving of an honorable mention in retrospect, but
in a weird way, like, there aren't a lot of games that hit that, although some of them do. We talked about some.
Yeah.
But like I'll tell you what, not just for us, but just across the internet, if there was a trailer for Half-Life 3,
right, that's one of the ones we mentioned. Tomorrow,
everybody would just be all like,
yes.
But I think part of that has to do with the quickness in which games are released
like,
now.
This is gonna come out in like 4 months, and we're like, sweet, and then later.
Well, even that Bethesda did this as far as Fallout 4 goes, went real quick. I mean, it was announced, and it was what, a 3-month timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no time at all. Whereas
right.
back in the day, when when the consoles ruled, and Nintendo Power Magazine was giving you the little sneak peeks of the the game that's going to release.
Now that I think about it, Super Mario Brothers 3 totally should have been on my list because of the wizard.
Yes.
Because of the wizard.
Yep.
But,
fair point.
I mean, yeah, that's actually a really good one. But I mean, we got little teasers and a little bit more and a little bit more, and it was an intense build up to like a year and a half plus, man.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that anymore.
Did we actually bring it up on the show, or was it during a pre-show, or maybe it was just myself and RJ talking about how it doesn't seem like they do trailers and stuff as far out as they used to. Yeah. It seems like it used to be like, there's a trailer for this movie that's going to be out in 3 years.
Yeah.
And now that doesn't really happen, with the exception of things like, Marvel releasing, this is every movie we're going to do for the next decade. But that doesn't feel the same.
No.
Right.
No, because there's no lead up to it. There's no... this is everything that we're doing, but we've got nothing else to show for it. I mean, we're like, ooh, Black Panther's
on the flip side of that,
and...
though, there was some interesting things earlier this year around San Diego Comic-Con. I can't remember what it was for exactly. I want to say it was regarding Deadpool, but I could be wrong on that. But there was a little think piece I read about the death of the teaser, insofar as that now there are teasers for teasers.
Yeah.
And you know, so that's the flip side of that as well. It's another interesting conversation, but I think we've rambled long enough for these fine people, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. All right, so thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. Give a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe if you haven't. Like the Facebook page, or invite a friend to like the Facebook page, because like I said, we're going to try and use that to give previews of our content, get a chance for people to engage ahead of time, and we can bring it up on the show like we did this week. But for now, we're getting out of here. So for Jacob Gamble, for TJ Rathburn, I am RJ Voloski, and you just lost the game. Bye-bye.
Oh!